Vice President Harris offered a scathing rebuke of former President Trump's claims that his recent indictments and convictions make him more appealing to black voters. In an interview with MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe, Harris was asked if Trump's comments about having black friends, in which the former president said he'd know if he was saying something racist because those friends would talk to him. Trump also said a lot of black people like him because they've been discriminated against and empathize with his own situation with the law. Harris said these remarks were insulting. It's insulting for a number of reasons, including he has reduced the whole population of people down to a sum total of what is, in his mind, who they are, said Harris. And he's wrong, and he's wrong. Earlier this year, Trump said his legal woes have earned him the support of black voters around the country. I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing, Trump said at an event in February. And a lot of people said that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against, and they actually view me as I'm being discriminated against. Trump has also come under fire from black leaders across both sides of the political spectrum after pushing back on allegations of racism in an interview with Semaphore. I have so many black friends that if I were a racist, they wouldn't be friends. They would know better than anybody, and fast, Trump said. They would not be with me for 2 minutes if they thought I was racist, and I'm not racist. Both Trump and President Biden are hoping to build support among black voters, particularly black men ahead of November's election. Though a majority of black men lean Democratic, recent polling from Pew Research Center shows about 20% of black men said they would vote for Trump if the election were held today. Before we even get into this story, imagine how pathetic your party has to be that it's like excited and drooling at the prospect of getting a fifth of a group to support it. Like, you know the majority of black males that vote are going to vote for either the Democrats or, even an independent third party, whatever. But they're not going to support you. But you're like, oh man, that fifth, I can almost taste them. So to go over Harris's comment, she said that Trump's comment was insulting for a number of reasons, including he has reduced the whole population of people down to a sum total of what is, in his mind, who they are. I think Trump's comment was kind of goofy, but I get what he's trying to say. Oh, this group that has been discriminated against historically is seeing me purportedly discriminated against, even though it really has to, well, whatever. But he's trying to say that by virtue of their own experiences with regard to their ethnic group's history in the United States, they are inclined to feel a kinship with me as a result of that. He could have worded it better. I think it's kind of goofy, but I wouldn't really be insulted by it. It's whatever. And reducing the whole population of people down to a sum total of what is, in his mind, who they are. Well, I mean, unfortunately, blacks tend to get associated with pretty much every negative, awful characteristic and stereotype that you can imagine. Whether you're talking about out-of-wedlock births, all these murders in every inner city across America, just, statistics relating to college dropouts, high school dropouts, mass incarcerations. Unfortunately, we just happen to be one of the groups that is not associated with much of anything good in the eyes of a lot of people who look at us from an outer rim and kind of just observe us. And I was going to say that while Trump is like salivating at the mouth about getting a possible 20% of the black vote, and not even the black vote, the black male vote, one thing that they do realize, both the Democrats and Republicans, is that blacks have caught on to the fact that they don't get any support from the Democrats despite their loyal backing. And even if most of them will still support them, the ones that are peeling off are not just, you had like Candace Owens talking about Brexit and all the rest of that. A lot of the ones that are peeling off are not going to just go vote for Republicans. They're going to just stay home and not even bother with either party. So that is one thing that I like, that they do realize, this side, neither one is really doing anything for us. Just like, Trump is full of crap. He talks about their discrimination, but what did he do? to assist them in ending discrimination. I'd love for an example of that. The only time I ever heard Trump directly talk about black voters was when he and his little sycophants go, lowest black unemployment ever, completely ignoring the fact that many of these jobs don't pay anybody any money worth a damn. You know, just very little attention was paid to this group that he's now saying feels such a kinship with him. So they know that he's probably, if he were to win a second term, not going to do anything to support them because he didn't during the first one. And to get into his comments where he says that he has black friends and that they would tell him if he were... The thing about powerful people, and when I say that I'm talking about not even just people who hold office, but people who have a lot of money, they're famous, etc., is that they can pretty much get away with any type of bad or awful thing they say or do in the presence of friends and not have any repercussions from it unless it is something directly having to do with violating the law. Now, when I invoke someone like Epstein, I'm not in any way suggesting Trump has done what Epstein did, but I am saying that there were a lot of people who were aware of what he was doing with his nasty plane rides, and because that was a rich and powerful person, he got away with it for many years. I mean, you can go down the list if we want to talk about different singers, the R. Kelly situation. There's plenty of people where, because of how famous they are, and the seeming influence that the people think they have, they can get away with stuff that other regular people would not. So, like, if Trump were just some random guy on the street, if he said something that was offensive to blacks, there's a very good chance that people would either verbally express this to him, or, you know, he might get cursed out, you know, something where it's like very directly stated to him, you're saying something that is not okay. But as a powerful person who probably has a lot of African Americans around him that don't want to lose their job, or, I mean, even like their influence, they're not going to say anything if he says something that is insensitive to them or that they're bothered by, because that they don't want to you know, risk getting in any kind of altercation with him, verbal or otherwise, you know, and getting possible retaliation. So Harris's comment about Trump's comment is, you know, it's all, I mean, I'm so like, I've gone down the list. They've called Trump racist. They've called Marjorie Taylor Greene racist. I mean, they called me that a few years ago. It's this term that they just throw around, and it's not going to help them win the election at all. I mean, really, I think they should just take all the stupid stuff he says, block out most of it, and then if it's something policy related, then go after it. But trust me, majority of black voters, whether they're male or female, especially if they're female, know that Trump and the Republicans are not going to do any more for them than the Democrats have. The most you can get out of them is they'll brag about, in general, their black friends, or black employment being high, or whatever other generic statistic. But in terms of actually addressing the mass incarceration, the dropping out of school from these high, ridiculous tuition prices, not being able to afford basic utilities, I mean, none of this stuff is ever going to get addressed by these people because they don't care. They want your vote, and then once they get in office, it's like you don't even exist.